Hey, what's up? It's Jared with State of Tech, and I've got the top 5 reasons not to buy the Surface Pro, which is sitting in front of me right here. This is the Surface Pro 2017 model, or the Surface Pro 5, you might call it, but Microsoft isn't calling it that, so we're just going to call it the Surface Pro 2017. This is the i5 version here with the 8 gigabytes and the 256 of memory, which is as maxed out as you can get it while still having no fans inside to make any noise. So the first reason that I suggest you don't buy it is the price for performance is kind of out of whack in comparison to the competitors such as Apple with their MacBook, Lenovo, some Dell 2-in-1, many of the other computer manufacturers out there have a computer with similar specs that is cheaper. So, of course, with this, you're getting the pen, the touchscreen, all that stuff. I mean, there are some extras here that you can't factor into that. But if you're in the shopping mode for a laptop that's maybe a tablet or a 2-in-1, I would say, there are definitely cheaper options to go here. This particular model without the pen, without the keyboard is $12.99. So add in all those things and tax, and you're close up to $1,700, which is getting a little expensive. You can get a very nice laptop for about that much money that probably has even more power than this. So I can't recommend this if the price for performance is important to you. Number 2 is connections. It has no USB Type-C. It has a mini display port, which I know most of us probably still have a monitor. If we have a monitor, it has a mini display port option. Not many of us have a USB Type-C monitor or USB Type-C devices to connect to it. But our phones are turning USB-C, our external hard drives, a lot of the accessories are going that way. And buying something at this price point that you're expecting to last you a couple of years, I would want the future-proofing a little bit of the technology that is coming and that is here now, which is USB Type-C. Microsoft said nobody's using USB Type-C, but I know a lot of people that do, and I know a lot of people that are going to want to over the next couple of years. There's no standard SD card slot. There's only a micro SD card slot right here on the back. Not many of us have micro SD card slot devices. I mean, unless you're rocking a GoPro or you're wanting to pull the SD card out of your smartphone or something like that and pop it into the back. What device do you have that takes a micro SD card? Most of our cameras, our point and shoot cameras, our DSLR cameras, anything that creates content that we might want to put into the computer is going to take an SD card, and then you're going to have to carry a dongle with you, some sort of adapter, and that's just kind of a bummer. I mean, they had enough room for a micro SD card slot. A standard SD card slot is not that much bigger. They could have fit that in there. It would have made a lot more sense than to have a micro SD card slot. Tablet versus tablet. I mean, if you're wanting a tablet, if you're wanting to buy a tablet, this, of course, is, there are cheaper options than this. I mean, yes, this can be considered a laptop and a creative device, with the pen and the keyboard and all that stuff, but take away what it doesn't come with, like the pen and the keyboard, and just call it what it is, which is a tablet, even though Microsoft is calling it a laptop, which, in my opinion, if you have to tap on a screen, it's not a laptop, because you have to tap on a screen on an iPad or something like that. Those are tablets. So this Surface Pro is a tablet unless you buy the accessories, which helps it become a laptop. So tablet versus tablet, there are cheaper options. This actually ends up becoming very expensive for a tablet, being that this model right here is $12.99, and you can get an iPad Pro for quite a bit less, few $100s at least, and definitely have some spending money left over. If you go Android, you can get even cheaper tablets that are available and save a lot of money there too. So if you're looking for a tablet, like this isn't going to become your new computer, this is just your tablet. You already have a nice laptop or a desktop and you have a phone that you really like, this is going to become what goes in the middle. There are definitely cheaper options than this. Now, of course, there are arguments why this would be better than a tablet, and if you want to go check out the video with the top 5 reasons why you should buy one of these, I make that argument there. But as far as a tablet goes, there are a lot cheaper options, and you can't really consider this a tablet and by itself. It is intended to be used like a laptop. Tablet, creative device, but for what it comes with, doesn't come with a pen, doesn't come with a keyboard. So tablet versus tablet, it's very expensive. I suggest going with some other sort of tablet if you really want a tablet. Gaming, editing video, editing photos, anything that includes some heavy lifting, this is just not a good device for you. Even if you went with the maxed out i7 version, still a dual core, still not very fast RAM, still definitely not a very fast graphics card inside of this thing. So you're just not going to have that performance. You're not going to be able to game on this without being frustrated. You're not going to be able to edit video on this without letting it sit forever plugged into power while it renders out your video files. And you're definitely not going to be able to edit photos very fast on here. In my first look in this device, and of course in my full review, I look at its performance when editing photos and stuff like that, and it is a little choppy. It's just an i5 with 8 gigs of RAM just isn't really enough for editing high-resolution images or creating high-resolution graphics and some of the more heavy-duty software like Photoshop and stuff like that. So performance just isn't really there for it to be a full-on creative device. If you're going to game, if you're going to edit video, if you're going to edit photos, I highly recommend going with something more powerful. Maybe even the i7 version of this, but that just gets crazy expensive. And if you are wanting to game, if you're wanting to edit video, you can't do it on something like this, even with the i7, because it's still going to have a slow graphics card. You're going to need to go with something more powerful that has a better graphics card in it, a bit more RAM, and probably an i7 chip in it at least. Maybe even a quad core if you're really getting serious about wanting to edit video and even game. You're just going to need that more power. You can't get it in this. So it's portable, but it's not. And so this device here, of course, is touted for being portable. And sure it is. It's extremely portable, but it's really not. I mean, the keyboard doesn't really work well in the lap. So when you're using this as a laptop, with the word lap, meaning you get it so you can use it on your lap, it's just not a very stable environment for being on your lap. There's too much flex going on. It's just not a sturdy enough experience to be used on your lap. So you have to take the keyboard off and tap on the display, and the display keyboard gets in the way of other things. You can't see what you're writing, and it just becomes a pain. It kind of falls apart in being a laptop experience, and that's and then of course for it being a tablet, which you would use for media consumption, it's actually kind of big and heavy. I mean, I watched a few hours of Netflix shows on this holding it in my hands, and it's 1.7 pounds. That gets a little heavy over time, and even for me, and I prefer something smaller and lighter if I'm going to hold it in front of my face. This is the kind of thing you might prop up somewhere. But then the screen's actually kind of small. So I don't know. I just can't find a good use for this to be for being a media consumption device. I mean, if I wanted something about this size for media consumption, there are tablets that are significantly smaller that produce decent audio, like the iPad is, this is 1.7 pounds without the pen or the keyboard attached. An iPad is like under 1.1 pounds. You can go with other tablets that are even lighter, yes, a bit smaller, but definitely something you can actually hold for a longer period of time. So the Surface Pro is a 2-in-1 that works best handheld without the keyboard. How useful is it is really up to you. I mean, if you like your money, it's probably not a good option because it is kind of expensive. There are cheaper options. But hey, it really comes down to what your use case is going to be. And I encourage you to check out a video that I'm putting up called The Top 5 Reasons Why You Don't Need a Tablet, because we are entering a time when tablets are becoming less and less useful. And I think I have some good arguments there that you should check out before you decide to drop some coin on something like this or something like it that still fits into that tablet category. So make sure to check out that video. Thanks so much for checking out this one. Give it a thumbs up or a subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed it, and hope to see you at the next video. Thanks for checking out State of Tech. We'll see you soon.